Ladies and gentlemen, all rise. Court is back in session. For how long is going to be determined on this show. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Devil's Due. I am your host, Carl Duty. With me, as always, is a man who, when he took second place in the World Warriors tournament, wondered, where is the champion? Where is Ryu? Mr. Drew Celestino.
If I took second place, technically, wouldn't I be out for revenge with a giant scar on my chest and an eye patch and whatnot?
No, you beat Sagat. I would have confidence in you in a fight against Sagat.
I've seen him. He's much bigger than me.
Well, yeah, with sizes and everything. Look at Bruce Lee.
True. You mean Fei Long?
Yeah. Potato.
Liu Kang?
No, Fei Long was much, much closer to Bruce Lee than...
In the first Mortal Kombat, Liu Kang
is
basically black pants, little white shoes.
So here we are.
Yeah. What a week.
Yeah. We had a discussion before the show started. Do we stand on ceremony? Do we just get right into it? We're going to stand on ceremony for a little while here.
Elephant in the room will be addressed momentarily.
Yes, elephants will be discussed. And then, standing on that ceremony, let's get to our opening statements. Sir, how was your week?
I'm just going over my notes, and aside from watching the hockey game every night that it was on, and unfortunately the Sabres are on a bit of a losing streak right now.
Yeah.
They were bound to fall back to earth, and they did, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Close games.
I don't want them to be number one throughout the season.
They're playing the Leafs right now, actually.
Yeah.
So when we're done here, we're done here. Hopefully that bodes well.
I really hope that is not a Leafs home game the way it normally is.
It will be. Don't worry.
I mean, normally I can't fault the Buffalo fans because you can pay off your season tickets by selling 2
Toronto games,
maybe 3 Toronto games.
But if the team is good, don't you want to be there when they beat the Leafs?
I know.
I understand. That's what I mean. So anyway, hopefully when we're done here, they'll be on top. We'll see. But really, not much else has been the haps around here. Just, as you can see, me working on some music stuff.
Yep.
And it's really about it. We had Friendsgiving at your place on Saturday, though, and that was a nice little sprawl.
Yes.
The food coma was real.
Yes. I didn't, because obviously, things going on in the personal life and whatnot, I didn't pay as much attention to, the event invite on Facebook and whatnot. So I didn't really keep track of who said they were bringing what like I normally do.
It was very starchy.
Very starchy here. So starchy.
3 kinds of potatoes.
Yeah.
Plus cornbread.
All the potatoes. All at once.
Oh. I think I was nodding out before I even left your house.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time.
Yes, it was. I had a good time. So thanks for having me over, and sorry the fam couldn't make it, but the cold bug swept through the house. I've avoided it thus far.
Yes.
I'm hunkered down here.
You were probably heading out of the house like Lando Calrissian headed out of the Death Star the minute before it blew.
Yeah. Kind of like that, only without the racist sidekick.
I mean, I don't know if he was racist.
It's a matter of perspective, but we all love Nine Nub. Don't get me wrong.
Nine Nub was great.
So yeah, that's not much else is going on. I crushed 3 more episodes of Big Mouth last night. Oh God, 4 actually. Correction, 4 episodes of Big Mouth last night.
After you finish Big Mouth,
yeah,
you have to start F is for Family.
Okay. It's got a high bar to clear here. It's going to tell you.
It's the animated show on Netflix done by Bill Burr.
Okay, I know Bill Burr.
Set in the 70s.
All right. Okay.
So.
30-minute or less Raw, which I couldn't even tell you anything about because I just nothing matters and I don't care. So
yet you keep mentioning it every week.
I just want
going back.
I just like to keep remind everybody that you don't have to watch it. Nothing happens. It doesn't matter. And I'm just assuring you of that. So, on the positive side, Apparently, Kenny Omega is getting an HBO documentary made about him.
Neat.
I just found this out today.
Is it being done by Bill Simmons, who did the
No.
Andre podcast?
No. No. The Andre Doc, no. I'm not sure who's doing it. I just saw the report earlier today that they are doing a little documentary on Kenny Omega.
Cool.
Pretty wild. Exciting times we live in, and further proof that he does not need Vince McMahon's money. He'll be fine. So
He'll fly. He's pilot.
he absolutely is. So look for that. And last Sunday at the Jacksonville Jaguar home game, who would be in the owner's box but Cody Rhodes and his wife Brandy,
Okay.
lending further credence to the All Elite Wrestling stuff that's being financed by Shahid Khan's son. Allegedly. Nothing's been announced, but I can.
Yeah.
I'm starting to put things together, and that looks like that's going to happen sooner than later. Good for them, and good for anyone that signs with them, and anything that disrupts the wrestling landscape. I'm for. So
Cool.
there you go. That's me. And obviously I did some public mourning and information clarifying for many
Yes.
people on the social medias. How was your week?
I saw a GIF on Twitter of, I guess, something that happened in a Ring of Honor match, a tag match.
Oh,
Where it was like a finishing move where, so the opponent's laying down on the mat,
yes.
and a guy does a backflip into the air, and then his partner pushes him midair so that he lands on the guy.
I haven't seen this.
I don't know.
I'll take your word for it.
It was when you first see it, you're like, oh my God, what did they just do? Then you watch it a couple more times, you're like, oh, they just did that.
Your flips don't impress me, sir.
It was a backflip, he got pushed in the air. So,
Okay.
yeah. It's very flashy, very cool. My week's, like I said, I'm still unemployed. So, job searching.
Would you say search in, seek and employ
Yes, I would.
to in Mega Man form?
Yes. God, that's awesome. So yeah, that's going on. We had Friendsgiving, and Sunday we went on the Polar Express train ride down in Medina, which was cool. They have a museum there, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's one of those massive, huge train sets, with the town built into it and everything. So that's really awesome to see. A lot of like historical items in the museum.
Does the train go like you get on a train and go somewhere?
You get on a train, it's about a 20-minute ride one way that stops at the North Pole.
Okay.
Air finger quotes.
Yeah.
And then it comes 20 minutes back, and Santa Claus is on it.
Oh.
20 minutes back.
Was there a very creepy plastic-faced Tom Hanks walking around?
There was not.
Oh, I'm disappointed.
There was not. There was, however, they attempted musical numbers singing along with the soundtrack of the film, and you could tell the people who were there had done it many times.
So they were kind of burned out?
A little bit.
But did they know the songs?
They knew the song.
Well, that's better than them like not knowing it at all and then being like, kind of just fumbling through it.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think that was pretty much it.
Okay.
Oh, I had a game night at my friend Adam's on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
I got to play a game that I've been kind of interested in playing for a long time, Above and Below, which is by the designer Ryan Lockett. He did Islebound.
Know that name, yeah.
And City of Iron. And this is kind of like probably one of his biggest games, like as far as popularity he's ever done. It was really enjoyable. I liked it a lot. It's not what I thought it was going to be. So yeah, that was a good time.
Cool.
Dear listeners, if you'd like to tell us about your week, send us any questions or comments to be read on the show. You can do so at the following locations. You can follow us on Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can go to facebook.com/DevilsDoPod, like our page there. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. And Drew, we do have some questions coming in. First one, I'm not going to bring it up because it was very basic and straightforward question. Mr. Tom Fenzel sent a question to our Facebook page asking if either one of us are currently watching the Cloak and Dagger series.
No. My young cousin, though, also has been insisting that I watch that show. He says it's awesome. He's also 15, 16 years old, so he's right in the target demo for that show. So I worry that... I don't worry, but I just, like... Number one, I'm not super, like... Cloak and Dagger, I know them from Marvel. I've never been, like, a super big follower of them. So I'm not really looking for it, I guess. And I feel like it's kind of a more youth-oriented show, and it might not be my bag.
The characters have always kind of appealed to me, but, like, at the time the show came out, there's just so much other stuff.
A lot of stuff out there
to watch.
Is that on Hulu? What is that on?
That is on, excuse me, I want to say Freeform.
What is that?
Well, Freeform's kind of like, remember the old ABC Family Channel?
Hang on, Carl. We have the internet right in front of us here. Cloak and Dagger TV series, Freeform.
Yeah.
What is Freeform?
Freeform's a channel. It was the old ABC the old ABC Family Channel.
Which used to be the Family Channel.
Yeah, which used to be the Family Channel. Now it's owned by Disney and whatnot. It's called Freeform.
Okay.
It's a family-friendly channel.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And this show is on it. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well,
that's the show. I think that New Warriors show was channeled the New Warriors.
I want Night Thrasher on a skateboard, or I don't care. That was my ground rules.
He also has fear watching Runaways.
Also, no.
Yeah.
What is that on?
Runaways is on Hulu. That's on Hulu.
Wow, man, Marvel spreads their wings.
Yeah, Marvel Television. Anyway.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
What all that means.
Yep. So, Tom, as always, thank you very much for your questions. Now on to first-time question asker, I believe, Mr. Tim Book.
Hey, Tim. Oh, my God.
I heard that Tony Falo is always cruel or mean. What's his problem? I'm guessing this is more for you.
Tony's problem? I don't know if Tony has a problem. It's just that Tony wasn't necessarily born on this planet, and he's still adapting to our culture.
Okay.
With Tim's help, Tony can be normal.
Okay. All right.
Tony's awesome.
All right. Our next question is from Mr. Cyrus Moore. Greetings, gentlemen. Hope you are doing well. I have a question for you involving recasting a flaming turd from the early beginnings of the DC dumpster fire.
Hey.
I am, of course, referring to Batman and Robin.
Okay.
If you could reboot this movie today with the intent of replacing it in history, but you have to keep the writing team, who's your cast?
Oh, God. Wait. Oh, hang on. So
we have to recast Batman and Robin. We have to keep the writing team.
Same movie.
His caveats were we have to keep the writing team.
Well, that means we're working from that script, son.
Some rewrites. He also gave us his selections. He would have it directed by Sam Raimi.
Okay.
Alfred Terrence Stamp.
Wow. Yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Bane, Batista, Dave Batista.
All he's going to say is bomb in the whole movie.
Batgirl, Mackenzie Davis.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who it is either. Mr. Freeze, Bryan Cranston.
Yes.
Yeah. That'd work. Poison Ivy, Emily Blunt.
Sure.
That'd work.
Okay.
Robin, Asa Butterfield.
Why do I know that name?
He was he was in consideration for Spider-Man when they were casting him for Civil War.
Oh, okay. This kid. Yeah. Man, that name is tragic.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
And for Batman, John Hamm.
Well, yeah. John Hamm.
John Hamm.
Okay, here's the thing. That all sounds great, but they still have to same writers?
He said we have to keep the same writers. He didn't say anything about the script. So I'm doing some serious.
Okay, that's your tact.
Rewrites.
I would say
we're cutting out Poison Ivy and Bane altogether. Probably Batgirl as well.
So okay,
I'm just making Heart of Ice, and I'm calling it Batman and Robin.
Okay, who's your cast? Granted, we don't have the deep pulls for the youth like others do. So,
John Hamm for Batman is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You know what made a really good Christopher Lloyd, like, back in the day? Like, the movie was made, like...
Christopher Lloyd? As who?
Mr. Freeze.
Oh.
If they made this movie... Yeah, I just mixed up my words.
That's okay.
If they made this movie back, like, late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd as Mr. Freeze would have been spot on.
Could have been something.
Trying to think. If you got any fire 'em on it.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make the same movie. I'm just going to recast it. But we're keeping everything the same.
Okay.
So...
Are you keeping the visuals the same?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
What's the point of remaking it then?
Well, my cast is not going to take it seriously.
All right.
I don't really have an answer for you, to be honest.
Yeah.
But let's just remake it, but let's just put new people in the roles and have them completely chew it up.
Do you think...
Like, we'll find room for Jack Black in there somewhere.
Do you think that there's a world where Warner Brothers lets MST3K have that film?
No. The Bat? No.
Yeah.
They'd have to license it, and it would cost a fortune. So, no, I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
And plus, not for nothing.
I mean...
It's a little more fun. This is an MST3K, like, observation on my end. I feel that the move, like, it's more fun.
Because the last season, they got into much more recent films.
Well, they kind of had to. I mean, time goes on.
Yeah.
There's only so much to pull from. And obviously, they have to license the movies. So, a lot of those older movies, the people might not want to license them, knowing what Mystery Science Theater is. When Mystery Science Theater was on back in the day, they got away with more because no one really knew what it was. Like, it was a cult thing, and it was, under the radar until it wasn't. And then filmmakers started to get upset that they thought they were being made fun of. And it's like, well, you are, but the spirit of it is still, it is what it is. I mean, but I think the show is at its best when it's at its best when they are clearly making fun and the creators are maybe unaware that it's happening, but when the creators are in on the joke in a way, it makes it less fun. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like if I said, if the maker of, I don't know, like ripping on The Room is hilarious because it's such an obvious target, and Tommy Wiseau is a complete lunatic. But if Tommy Wiseau gives you his permission to do it and signs off on it, is it as fun? I'm not sure.
I see your point.
So anyway,
but
there you go.
Yeah, Cyrus got a solid cast here, especially with Bryan Cranston as Mr.
Cranston as Freeze would be really good.
That I would very much like to see that.
I could hear him saying now, Batman, what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Yeah,
with dead seriousness.
Mine's going to be a much better version.
All right,
Cyrus. Thank you very much for your questions. Up next, if I get back to where I was going. Yeah. Technology. Okay, on to I can't think of a clever name for him. So, Mr. Alan Waiters and Mr. J. Gelsomino.
You're out of dynamic duos for them?
Yeah.
Okay.
For right now.
The Hawk and Dove of the Devil's Due?
I think I already did that.
Oh. Okay. Never mind. The what's the name? It's the moment has passed. Sorry. Thought I had something.
Okay.
Lost it. Never mind.
You look so hopeful there for a second too. You were so excited.
Yeah, it was there, but I only had half of it, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to get the other half wrong. So there it is. There it is. Sorry.
Okay. All right, so
we'll make a list. Although I got a whiteboard, we'll start making notes.
No, that counts as show prep. And
that's okay.
We've clearly shown we don't do that around here.
Maybe we should start.
First for Mr. Alan Waiters. Hi, Drew and Carl. It's been a while. Now down to business.
Been a while.
Drew and Carl. It is said that Captain Marvel is the most powerful person in the MCU outside of Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. Isn't Thor the most powerful person because he's a god and the god of thunder? What are your thoughts?
Well, as we've seen, the Asgardians aren't gods as they are so much as they are just, aliens who live a long time and can wield cool weapons and occasionally, summon thunder and lightning.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is that comic canon or just for taking it from films?
Comic canon is very...
Yeah.
I mean, gods, yes, but they're kind of, the movie explanation that they're kind of aliens is kind of taking hold in the comics as well. Like, Asgard's just another realm, if you will.
Yeah.
Hey man, we're all the same on the inside, even Asgardians.
Okay.
So, if Captain Marvel is some kind of super jacked up, powerful alien warrior, then yeah, why couldn't she go toe to toe with Thanos?
I would probably throw Captain Universe into the mix.
In the comics, sure.
Yeah.
But that's not going to be in the movie. Alan did specify the MCU.
Oh, yeah,
so,
he did.
See, it's weird, though, because, in the comics page, if you were to put Captain Marvel up against Thanos, say at the time of, Infinity War, I feel like Thanos would wipe the floor with him.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, Thanos wiped the floor with all of them.
Yeah.
He won.
I mean, we've got... It's tough.
It took Adam Warlock to fix things.
Yeah. He said that it is said that Captain Marvel is the most powerful. I don't know who's saying this. I haven't seen this anywhere.
That's been the word. That
might be some of Alan's sources.
I've heard those quotes bandied about.
All right. So yeah.
I mean, Thor couldn't take on that. Thor lost.
Thor took on Thanos. He just made a strategic miscalculation.
Yes.
He didn't aim for the head.
Yes. Should have. Or just cut his arm off, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Carl, is it wise to wrath a person even though they brought you delicious food? Wrath is made up of 3 parts wrath, 1 part justice. So if you've been given wrath, you've done something to incur said wrath.
All right.
The wrath is rarely given blindly and without cause.
Okay. Fair enough.
So,
justice, huh?
Justice.
Okay.
Drew, is Big Mouth the funniest show right now? Would you recommend this show for adolescents, especially if they are going through the changes? Have you stopped eating Triscuits and Tostito scoops since you started watching the show?
No, because those are still delicious, but I will remind everyone that it's all about the toppings or lack thereof. Funniest show? I mean, I guess we're certainly dying every time we watch it. So yeah, I'd say it's pretty good. Caught me by surprise. Adolescents watching it. I mean, I'd say no because it's so over the top, but at the same time, I knew what I was watching when I was an adolescent, and it was probably nothing. I mean, it wasn't anything worse. So, yeah, sure, go for it. Just yeah, sure, go for it, kids. Watch Big Mouth. I mean, relatively speaking.
Way to help the parents out there, Drew.
Hey,
by the way, parents, don't let your kids watch Big Mouth.
Someone's got to teach the kids, and it might as well be Big Mouth. I'm just putting it out there.
Thank you very much, Alan. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, Mr. J. Gelsomino. Drew and Carl, in lieu of recent events regarding a certain Marvel show on Netflix being canceled,
Iron Fist.
I just wanted to know how it's going. I hope it's well. What does the future hold? I would suggest a format change to a show called Netflix and Chilled, where you guys drink cold fancy beers and reviewed canceled Netflix shows.
There's only a few. Well, no, there's probably more than a few, actually.
Yeah. They've got a good number of canceled stuff. I I mean, it's weird because it's still on there. You can still watch it. It's just not. You're never going to get that new episodes banner again. So yeah, we're gonna discuss
that. Yeah.
News.
Don't add stuff to my plate, Jay. Thank
you. Drew.
Hey.
What Daredevil character do you think deserves their own comic spinoff besides the biggies like Kingpin, Bullseye, and Elektra? Comic character Daredevil spinoff.
Wow. I mean, they kind of had one for Ben Urich for a hot minute, didn't they? When The Pulse or whatever it was called?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't about him, but it was, it kind of, he was a player in it. It was about the Daily Bugle and the goings on. That's still a valid concept. Here's a reporter in the Marvel Universe. These are his stories. I mean, Marvels by Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross was built on that, was it not?
Yeah.
Wait, was that Kurt Busiek who did Marvels?
I think so. It wasn't Ben Urich in Marvels.
No, it wasn't. But it was a reporter, photographer, photojournalist. And then, again, Ben Urich shows up in Daredevil quite often doing the investigative reporter angle. And, like I said, that Pulse series was about, newspapers and superhero happenings. So that's an evergreen concept, if you ask me. So,
I think Foggy Nelson series, just give it to us.
The mishaps of Foggy Nelson.
Sure.
Kind of play it for laughs a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, Carl. Do you feel, given the cancellation of the show, Fulton Reed is set to make a comeback as life comes full circle as a drunken lawyer coaching a ragtag Pee Wee hockey team? I like living in a world where Foggy is Fulton Reed and he gets the nickname Foggy from all his drunken shenanigans.
Jay might have just won the internet with that.
Yep. Mighty Ducks 4. Still ducking. Keep on ducking.
Turducking. Sure. I'm in.
Yeah,
I'll watch it.
I'll watch it.
I
will watch it.
Can Emilio Estevez be involved at all?
He's got to make a cameo.
Okay.
He's got to make a cameo.
I'm good.
You know what he is? He's the old guy from the first movie who owned the comic shop now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll keep him alive. All right. That does it for the questions. Thank you, everybody who submitted. Now on to the news. Starting with least and heading to worst.
We're just going to keep dragging this out.
We are. We really are. Because that's what everyone's tuning in for this week.
Probably. Yeah.
So we got word that a Shang-Chi movie is currently in development. Sure. Why not? You don't have Iron Fist anymore.
Well,
you kind of got a lot of flack for doing Iron Fist over Shang-Chi. Sure. I'm not super familiar with the character.
Neither am I, to be honest with you.
For a short time, he instructed when Spider-Man had lost his spider sense. He and Iron Fist kind of teamed up to instruct Peter in the way of the martial arts.
So you're saying Spider-Man's now a ninja as well?
Well, when you have that ability and you come to rely on it and you've based your whole fighting style around it, and you no longer have that ability, you need to make an adjustment. And if you got the two foremost martial artists on your speed dial, you use your resources.
I can't fault your logic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's cool. I don't know too much about Shang-Chi, to be honest with you.
I don't either.
He's another one of Marvel's 70s exploitation characters.
Yep.
Which they were all about at the time.
Yep.
So
he's Bruce Lee.
Yes, he is Bruce Lee, essentially. I don't really know his villains. So
I know extremely little about the character. I know his name is Shang-Chi, and he does kung fu.
He's the master.
That's the extent of my knowledge.
Hey, go for it. The more you can branch out your universe, the better. I just, in the pantheon of the Avengers, what's Shang-Chi gonna do? Then again, as I say that, Hawkeye's on the team. So maybe I should not be so quick to cast aspersions.
Yeah, you never know.
The guy with the bow and arrow is on the Avengers.
We'll see how it goes.
Here's the thing.
Did you see the fake Black Panther sequel poster?
Yeah, the Namor poster.
Oh God.
Yeah, I've seen that going around. With Namor, they really should find a home for him in the MCU. If all of our major players are going to be hanging up the tights soon, they really do need to kind of they're going to want to bring up a new group, right? And here's the thing, man. Like, the MCU was built on B-listers at the time because the A-listers were taken elsewhere. So if we're already scraping the B team that we've now built into an A team, in fairness, now you got to go down to the C team.
And there's quality there.
There is,
they got a deep bench.
It's going to be a harder sell, though. It's going to be a much harder sell.
No, I mean, if anyone can sell it, it's them. But
absolutely,
I see what you're saying.
I just think as time goes on, it's going to be harder for them to pull the rabbit out of the hat like they've been able to do with Captain America and Thor and the Avengers and even Guardians.
Yeah.
Marvel has an uphill climb. Then again, maybe they'll selectively choose what they want to do. Meanwhile, the A team they once did not have access to, by all accounts, they will have access to, so they can keep cashing them X-Men checks all day long.
Yeah.
So, whatever they're going to do. And hopefully the Fantastic Four in a way that we get to see that we've always wanted to see.
I'm fully expecting, though will not be disappointed if it doesn't happen, some sort of X or Fantastic Four related stinger at the end of the next Avengers.
It would make sense if they did, and it would make sense if they didn't. So
they should use the FF stinger I outlined because it was awesome.
Yeah, all of our ideas are awesome, Carl.
They are.
So Shang-Chi.
Yes,
Master Kung Fu.
What do we? Is the sequel like Bob, Master of Taekwondo?
Sure.
Regional YMCA champion.
You know what I want? I want the Karate Kid to be put into the MCU. I want Daniel LaRusso in there somewhere.
Daniel LaRusso might be the biggest fraud movie character from the 80s.
What? He won the All Valley Championship, sir.
And he should not have. There's no world in which he should have gotten past the second round at the most.
But it happened.
I chalk that movie.
Bills should have won Super Bowl 25, but it didn't. But
no, there's logical reasons why the Bills didn't win Super Bowl 25.
I'm saying.
I'm pointing to one of the logical reasons right now why the Bills didn't win Super Bowl 25.
Yes, they were drunk.
Yes.
You don't have to beat around the bush here.
Yeah.
The Vegas Golden Knights should not have made it to the Stanley Cup Finals last year, but they did.
But they were still a professional hockey team that was made up of professional hockey players playing other professional hockey teams.
That's fine. Sometimes you run into a buzzsaw, man.
No.
Hey, it happened.
So I'm going to train you in like UFC for 2 months and then throw you in a ring with Conor McGregor. You're going to win?
Could get lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Could get lucky.
Yeah.
One good shot's all it takes. You're forgetting he was the best around.
Stop.
Nothing's going to keep him down.
It's even worse in the second movie.
I love the second movie.
Chosen was karate with a pulse. And Daniel LaRusso wins by throwing blind haymakers one after another.
But he was focused.
Shut up.
He had the power of all the little drums.
Stop.
The little hand drums.
Stop. It's once.
You know what it is? You know what happened? Oh, Carl. Of course. Daniel had the power of the Iron Fist.
No.
He broke all 6 ice blocks, and that had never been done.
Okay.
So he has the Iron Fist.
Was his fist glowing at the time?
Probably, but we couldn't see it because the film stock wasn't as good in the 80s.
Stop.
They didn't have the CGI to do it.
Just no.
I'm going with it. That's my headcanon.
All right. On to our next news story. We got a brand spanking new Captain Marvel trailer last night during Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I didn't see it during the game. I watched it on YouTube later.
Yeah, so did I. And yeah, it's looks great. We got. I told you we were gonna get the mask. We got the mask. Not only that, we got the mohawk.
Yeah, they're just going all in on it.
Yeah,
which is good. Don't shy away from these costumes, please. If there's one thing I want in the future of the MCU, it's more costumes.
Yes.
Give me all the costumes.
More costumes, rightly toned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't shy away. Embrace.
Whoever's going to wield the shield next, let's turn the shades up a couple notches on that costume. 2 or 3 at the most.
That's fine. Cap's always been okay. When it comes to the X-Men, I want costumes.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't make any sense for them. I don't care. I want them. I want Wolverine in a mask.
Yep.
I want yellow.
I want the orange and brown.
Either way.
I prefer the orange. Personal preference is orange and brown. I think it would look better on screen.
Either way. Embrace the ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
Anyway. It looks awesome. It looks pretty wild. Like, if Guardians was your comedic space franchise, this looks like your serious space franchise.
Yeah, but still has those moments of levity in it. I don't know a ton about the character.
Put it this way,
other than she can go like pew pew with her fists.
Hey, that's enough for me, and she can fly. So
yeah, super strength.
And Carl, she can fly, and yes, she is a pilot.
Yes, and
legitimately,
and apparently she can go Super Saiyan too. From pictures. I mean, it looks great. It looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
They're gonna simplify her origin quite a bit because in the comics it's a disaster.
Well, she's been around for a while and had a bunch of different alter egos.
Yeah, and she's gone through several unfortunate character assassinations over the years. The less said about them, the better. So just if you're curious about her, just read the Kelly Sue DeConnick stuff, the more recent stuff when she rebranded herself as Captain Marvel. Stick with that.
How sweet would it be if, because power-outs are always kind of a trendy thing to do in a sequel film.
Yeah.
How sweet would it be if they do a sequel to Captain Marvel and they do the whole rogue thing?
They can now.
Yeah.
Well, once the ink is dry.
Yeah.
But they can do that. Well, sure. Why not?
I mean, that'd be neat.
That's canon.
Yeah.
Carol Danvers also has good taste in music. I just want to put that on the table, too. She's going to spend a significant portion of this movie in a Nine Inch Nails t-shirt. I think that's pretty cool.
All right. All right, Drew. Let's get to it.
Okay. Mark it. It's hang on. It took us 38 minutes to get to the question everyone wants to know.
Well, you
the
don't
answer to.
You don't
the subject matter they want to hear us talk about.
You don't start the concert with the song everyone wants to hear because they're all just going to leave afterwards.
Oh man, Metallica's crowds in '92 must have been pissed. They opened with Sandman.
Well, I mean, they had the catalog and the.
Yeah, but most of the people that went to see them did not know that catalog.
Okay, so it was announced that I was surprised yet not surprised. Daredevil has been canceled.
Or not renewed, or however you want to phrase it.
All the headlines I saw say canceled. So,
yeah. I thought that the goodwill and the reviews of the third season would have saved it.
I thought Daredevil was safe. I thought
was the crown jewel.
Everything else was going to go. After they canceled Luke Cage, I kind of figured Jessica Jones and Punisher were going to go. Daredevil's going to stick around, and they may try something to rebuild or whatnot. But no, this is clear signal sent, clear indication. I don't expect, obviously, Jessica Jones or Punisher to go beyond their next seasons.
Yeah.
The only reason they're getting those next seasons is because they're already either completed filming or currently being filmed.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a bummer. We kind of always knew when we started this venture that we were going to have limited material to work with, and I didn't expect the show to go on for like 10 years or something, but I kind of figured we would get
a good 5-year run
at least.
Yeah, not so much apparently.
So, and obviously afterwards there's been a whole bunch of stuff going around. Speculation, if the show is going to find a new home, if it's going to be this way or that, or because we have, after the cancellation, Marvel saying they're not done with Netflix. But then we get another story saying that it is not going to the Disney streaming service, which we have said for a while that none of these shows will go to the Disney streaming service, and that it is in fact done.
We spent, me and you, but I feel like it was mostly me. I spent a lot of time on the day it was canceled telling people, because the immediate reaction from people was this, first it was disbelief. How could this happen? Why is it happening? Yada yada. And believe me, I share that sentiment. And then the next obvious thing is everyone trying to find hope where hope seems in short supply, and obviously people are like, well, obviously they're going to put it on the
Disney
streaming service.
Yeah, you and I've said no to that.
They're not doing that.
Day one.
Yeah, these are Netflix's shows made in partnership with Marvel. They're made by Marvel Television. Here's what you got to know: Marvel Television and Marvel movies, they're not chummy.
No,
this is why it's a very one-way street when it comes to what acknowledges what.
Yeah.
The shows acknowledge the movies. The movies could not be bothered to acknowledge the shows.
Yeah. Even the Russos tried to get the Netflix characters into Avengers 3 in some capacity, and they got the door slammed in their face on that one.
Yeah.
It's really, this sucks.
It's unfortunate because in the case of Daredevil specifically, like, it was... If they reboot it, let's just say, well, hey, maybe we'll get a new Daredevil show. Great. But it's got a high bar to clear. Because the one we had was really good.
Yeah, and even if they did a new Daredevil show with the original cast, got the band back together and everything, it's going to be... Here's the other thing I thought was a possibility. Well, first off, here's what I think happened. Any deal that a third party does with Marvel right now, I can almost guarantee is contingent on Marvel having final say when the terms of that contract are done, whether or not they're going to renegotiate the contract or just recall the characters back to them.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going through, what they did in the early 2000s again now that they have the success they do. So I'm guessing that the deal with Netflix was for X amount of time, and we're coming up on the end of that. And then Marvel just informed Netflix that, like, after this deal is done, we're not going to renegotiate. We're just going to recall the characters.
Right.
So instead of kind of playing out the contract and getting the most out of it, Netflix said, okay, we're just going to cut ties and we're not going to put any more money into this if we can't keep going with it.
Right.
So the one thing I've thought, like, kind of before a lot of this stuff came out, is that, like, if this show gets canceled, that they're going to move all these shows over to Hulu.
They're not moving at all.
Yeah, because they have a 30% stake in Hulu, soon to be 60%, and Hulu has more of a diverse palette in that, there is, like, you can find family stuff on there, but they also have the stuff for just the grown-ups as well. So you're putting them still on a streaming service where they can thrive and still have that unique voice that they've developed and still kind of keep it in-house. But that apparently is not happening either.
No, and because, I mean, the logistics of it are, what would they do? They would commission a new season to be aired on Hulu, but the first 3 are on Netflix. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
These shows aren't leaving Netflix, at least not for a while. They're Netflix shows,
yeah,
Netflix originals or whatever. So you have two entities that, are going to flex muscles. And if I'm Marvel, I don't want those. I don't want to promote someone else's stuff. And if you're Netflix, this is why they're canceling them.
Yeah.
They don't want to promote someone else's stuff.
I'm thinking the decision to approach it the way they did was probably more Disney than Marvel. Because I'm sure Marvel's happy with the product.
Marvel TV certainly is. Well, I think I think a lot of people are.
But Disney ultimately just doesn't want to have to compete with themselves.
Sure. And that makes a lot of sense. But it does beg the question of where does it go from here? Like, Daredevil is clearly a viable property.
Yes.
Right? I mean, this isn't the aftermath of the Affleck movie where it's like, okay, Daredevil, maybe not. He's a character for nerds in the comic books, like me. No. He's clearly got an audience that people there's an audience for Daredevil. So I can't imagine him being kept, on the shelf for long. So what do you do? I mean, I guess they could do a new series. Maybe they bring him back into do a movie appearance for all I know. But that's going to be it's going to be difficult because what we've got for the last little while has been so good.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
I don't want to see another version because I'm still going to be thinking like, who was really good at Daredevil? Charlie Cox. He was really good.
Yeah. I think if you do another version, you keep the cast. And I think they have a really unique opportunity to, especially with Fisk, introducing Fisk, because now we're kind of more free to have Fisk in a maybe like Spider-Man movie or something like that.
Yeah, I know you. I know,
but at the same time, like that Fisk just doesn't feel like it would fit.
None of this
world.
Does.
Yeah,
it's too. Look, the MCU has a tone.
Yeah.
These Netflix shows have a tone. I don't know that they could work together. I just don't know.
Yeah. I'm not opposed to the attempt.
Fisk took a guy's head off with a car door.
Yep.
You going to drop into Spider-Man? I don't know, dude. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't see it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it. But very different. Just, yeah, it wouldn't work. So they would have to find a way to redo it again. And again, that's a shame because what we got was so good.
Yeah, it's really, really unfortunate. And is unfortunate for the other shows as well because even though they weren't up to par with Daredevil, they were still far and away better than most of the other genre stuff that's out there as far as television shows go.
I can only think of the DC shows, which I don't watch, so I can't really speak to that. But I mean, I thought the Marvel stuff was largely good. Iron Fist aside, it was good. Luke Cage
was good. It
was
wasn't
good.
Perfect.
No, but nothing is. Nothing's going to be perfect. Well, Daredevil was pretty close, but I hate to say it, but Daredevil was pretty close. This is it stinks, dude. It's not cool. Stink.
So, which brings us to the next issue at hand. Drew, we kind of have a show based around this show now. Well, I mean, not based around it, but
it's been the anchor. It's been the gimmick.
So where do we go from here? I think
keep trucking.
No, I mean, folks, we're not going to stop the show just because Daredevil is stopped. I think we have a unique opportunity and again, this is me being kind of, the positive one. I think we have a unique opportunity we finish out. Obviously, we're going to finish out this season of Daredevil because it deserves to be finished out and whatnot. And then I think during that time we're doing that, we kind of examine, rebranding, rebooting, relaunching, whatever terminology you want to use for it, and see where that can possibly lead and see where that can go. We had a great experience with Will Waterose of Iron Buffalo last week, and he and I have been talking, and he's open to having a podcast there, doing a live show every once in a while, if not weekly. So yeah, I think I'm interested to see where this is going to take us, because I think we've spent a good amount of time developing our audience, developing our show, our chemistry with each other, how we kind of riff off each other. And I think, we can kind of move forward without constraints of, well, the show is about XYZ and into a possibly more creative outlet. But I'm definitely saying, that waits until we're done with Daredevil, because we've done 100+ shows on the Devil's Due, and it deserves to have its due.
I don't know that we need to change much, to be honest with you. We cover a lot of ground.
We do cover a lot of ground. I don't think I think you get diminishing value in keeping a show title that's associated to a recently canceled show. Like people who are browsing podcasts and whatnot may see this and not think that it's something to explore for new stuff, just like old stuff. So,
well, I mean, we can change the imagery around, and we can change the description of the show and keep the name. I mean, it's just a name.
Well, if it's just name, shouldn't be a problem with changing it then.
There's cachet in a name, sir. There's branding to be.
I'm here looking at our bank account. We don't have a lot of cachet in there.
Hey, there's value in brand recognition. So
So yeah, folks, let us know what you think. We want to hear from you, because obviously you guys and girls who have supported the show. Tell us what you think. Shoot us emails. Shoot us tweets and whatnot. Tell us what you think, what direction you'd like to see the show go in. But yeah, I think it's unfortunate, ultimately, that we're getting kind of shortchanged on Daredevil. But we can, we're going to finish out Daredevil and see where we go from there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
We're not going anywhere. The show's going to go on. It's just, in what form does the show go on is the question. We have too much fun doing this.
Okay. Well, we just keep on going. Just pretend, Dad just went out for some cigarettes. He'll be back. He'll be back. That's all.
It's still good. It's still good.
It's still good.
It's gone, Dad. No.
Marge, would you allow me a moment alone with the sub?
Are you going to eat it?
Yes.
Smithers, I think I'd like to donate a large sum of money to charity. When pigs fly. Would you like to make out that check, sir? No, I don't think so.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
We'll seize the opportunity.
Sure.
Turn a rain cloud into a rainbow. That's what I say.
Pot of gold at the end, right?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, Drew. That being said, let us carry on. Carry on my wayward. What are you doing?
It's an audio medium. I'm using audio.
It's
called Foley, sir, in the business.
It's called fallacy.
No, I have some bad news for you about how movies are made. In Indiana Jones, when he punched a guy and it sounds insanely awesome, that's not real.
I mean, I'm rustling my notes as
my
been
notes
our
are
tradition.
on my phone. You can't hear me touch my phone.
And you're flipping the instruction booklet to your mini keyboard over there.
Hey, again, it's an audio medium. It gets the point across.
Yeah.
Here's my notes. Ready? There you go. You hear that? No, of course you didn't, because it's on my touch screen.
Still more truth in there.
Wow.
Okay, so Daredevil episode 4, Blindsided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
this show teaches us a very important lesson. Just because something has become a trope doesn't mean it's not still awesome.
Specifically?
The hallway fight.
Oh, well, yeah, okay. We'll get to that. Yeah. Let's get to that. But before we start this episode, I could not have been the only one watching this. Fisk gets out of jail.
Yep.
He is in federal custody.
Yep.
On lockdown.
Yep.
Meals are regimented.
Yep.
Wakes up when they tell him, yada, yada.
Yep.
He's got... In this episode, they're bringing in paintings. He's got the kitchen going. Like, he's adapting to his new life quite well, I'd say.
I think you might have watched the wrong episode, dude.
Maybe I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah, you are jumping ahead.
Either way, he's adapting.
Episode 4.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm taking my notes out of context. Either way, that point's going to stand for a future episode.
Yes.
I was like, what's going on here? In this case, he's being a good boy in custody. That's what happened.
Yes.
He's being a very good boy in custody.
Behaving himself.
He is.
He knows the routine, even when the routine's supposed to be a surprise.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing a room toss, and he's awake and waiting for them, and that kind of takes him back.
Meanwhile, Matt also is adapting of sorts, right? He goes back to his house.
Yeah, Matt goes home.
And he's also out in public with no cane. And, like, he's kind of...
Because that's part of Matt Murdock.
He's being a little cavalier, I'd say.
That's... Because, remember, he said he's leaving Matt Murdock behind, and the cane and the glasses are part of the disguise of Matt Murdock. He doesn't need them.
Okay.
As we see when he's getting into the prison to meet with the prisoner, he has the abilities to overcome the things that the glasses and the cane would normally bypass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that too, and he's not, and not only that, later on in the episode when he's getting out of the prison, he's not hiding his abilities.
Not at all.
He's using them fully in front of others. So this episode, I felt, just really drove the point home that he's done with the Matt Murdock persona.
At this point, yeah. Yeah. So about that prison visit.
Yes.
That's why he stole Foggy's wallet.
Yeah.
He could use his ID to get into the prison.
Yep.
Or his credentials anyway to get into the prison. And he's getting some info on the Albanians, I guess, that, if they attacked Fisk or Fisk.
Yeah, he wants
them.
to know why Fisk rolled on them specifically.
Right. And what we find out is that's a bad place to be.
Yeah.
Because we get an 11-minute sequence that is all one shot, and it's pretty awesome.
We get a new hallway fight
of sorts.
When I first saw the episode, I was just like, okay, we're doing this again. It's still awesome, but don't get me wrong, it is still awesome.
Yeah.
It's freaking fantastic.
I think this one escalates things, actually.
But it is kind of a trope now.
That's fine. I like it.
Yeah.
It's 11 minutes.
I know it's 11 minutes.
Do you know how much work it probably took to stage that?
Probably a lot.
Like of him escaping that room and trying to get out of the prison?
I think the fight is definitely, save for the Punisher hallway fight in season 2, when he was just like
savage.
Blood everywhere.
Yeah.
The fight was probably the most brutal of the 3 hallway fights.
Bad things happen to a lot of people.
Yeah, it was pretty freaking fantastic. He gets called from Fisk.
Yeah.
In the office, and Fisk kind of knows now. If he didn't know,
I was going to say
he knows now.
He has to, right? He has to know now.
So, and he gets a little bit injected with something, not a lot. He doesn't get the full dose.
Yeah.
And you could tell like it's kind of affecting him at first, but then his adrenaline kind of burns through it.
It does catch up to him though when he passes out in the cab.
Yeah.
he's kind of banged up, but either way,
it's a rough day.
Yeah, a little bit. But he does find out that Fisk arranged the shanking, his own shanking, to get him out of prison.
Yep.
And it worked.
Yeah, and Karen's doing digging on Red, what's it called? Red Lion?
Yes, Red Lion.
Yeah, Red Lion.
Yeah.
Also, she's also close to finding out more information on the blue, green, yellow, and black lions and this conglomerate they form called Voltron Tech.
Oh.
Voltron Tech.
I mean, is there a king of red lions, and is he a boat?
You lost me.
Clearly, you've never played Wind Waker.
No.
Okay, well...
I have. I just never got that far into it.
You didn't get the boat?
No, I rented it from, Blockbuster.
So you never got the boat?
I don't think so.
Well, the boat is the king of red lions.
Okay. All right.
Karen's after the boat. Probably.
But no,
Karen is Zelda.
Yeah.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Wow, the franchises are just colliding all over the place.
just mashing them together. So, yeah, they're both... We see in later episodes that Matt and Karen kind of meet in the middle with the dots they're connecting together.
Sure.
As far as Fisk.
Foggy also has told Karen that Matt is alive.
Yes.
So now she knows.
Yeah. And knowing is, once again, half the battle.
See?
Yeah, and Foggy... one of the things I really liked in this season was to learn that Marcy's relationship with Foggy had become genuine.
Yeah.
And it was a really nice aspect of the show to see.
I've seen people criticize Foggy that he's boring, but it's no, he's not.
No.
He's the normal, well-adjusted person on the show.
Yeah.
He's the heart. He's the anchor.
Yeah.
That's the point.
And you see him kind of freaking out in the way that someone in his situation normally would freak out. And
he decides to run for district attorney.
Yeah, Marcy is, she kind of has a calmer head in the situation, makes the suggestion. And, she doesn't get a lot of screen time this season, but I really liked her character this season.
Yeah. They could have they could have gone the opportunistic, materialistic angle with her, that she was only interested in him so long as he was a hotshot. But no, they have a genuine relationship.
Legitimate. Karen in one scene just kind of goes looking for trouble.
Yeah.
What
was that about?
It made me kind of ask the question, are they trying to show that Karen's been fundamentally changed from the time she spent with Frank?
I don't know that,
because
Frank stuff has anything to do with it. Maybe a little.
Even in season 2, she's bouncing back and forth between the two ideologies, between Frank's ideology and Daredevil's ideology.
I don't know that she's out to be like Frank, though. Yeah. I think she's just in a very stressful position, and she's clearly not thinking straight.
Yeah.
And she's acting irrationally. Very irrationally. So, yeah. Mr. Poindexter, Agent Poindexter, is...
Special agent.
Oh, he's special, all right. He's messing with Fisk's food. It's dude, you're not... What are you doing?
Dude, he felt like having a burger.
Yeah, don't mess with this guy, dude. That's okay. Fisk sees something in him, though.
Yeah. Yes.
And he goes to bat for him. So he's courting him.
Yeah.
Fisk is a manipulator.
Fisk. Oh God, D'Onofrio is this season is his Fisk imperfection.
Yeah.
Just every moment with Fisk is just he reminds me almost at times how you would picture Darkseid.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. It makes sense.
He has complete, even though he is a prisoner, air finger quotes, you get the sense that he is in control at all times and has complete dominance over his domain.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he's choosing currently right now not to embrace that dominance. He's waiting for the right time.
He's the Emperor in Jedi.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. He's playing the very long game.
Yeah.
He knows the right moves to make.
And he's courting Poindexter, and he's also getting Nadim further and further under his thumb.
Yeah. Because as we see in later episodes, these are not the only two that Fisk is building. They established Fisk in such a great way this season that even at the end of the season, with where he ends up, you're just like, okay, that's inconsequential to him. You
could almost argue he's too powerful, but at the same time, money buys influence.
Yeah.
And if he's that well connected, that influence can spread very, very quickly. And he has everything right where he wants it. And that's the way it is. He's omnipresent. He's very scary. And even though he's a prisoner, he is calling the shots. He's not as captive as they'd have you believe. One nitpick, I believe he utters the marvelous. Let's call it that. The marvelous phrase. The world is changing. Every villain in every one of these Marvel properties says that at some point, and it drives me nuts.
I never thought about that.
Now that I've told you, you will never not hear it again.
Okay.
It's a trailer quote by every villain in every Marvel movie. The world is changing. The world is changing. So you're telling me the world is changing? Marvel, I get it.
I think at this point we could say the world has changed.
It's changed, past tense. Or it's just a non-statement. Of course it is.
Yeah.
In any case, nitpick. So Matt wakes up and the cab driver is nowhere to be found, and the cab is going into the water.
Well, the cab driver was there at first, but then just kind of jumped out.
Yeah.
And takes a long drive off a short pier.
And this is
Quite
actually
literally.
a scene from Born Again.
It's been a while since I read it.
This happens in Born Again. Exactly, actually. They throw Matt in a cab off the dock. And then as they find out later on, we'll stop there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's from Born Again.
Nice.
So this is not a verbatim adaptation of Born Again, but it is a spiritual adaptation of Born Again, and they are pulling certain imagery and sequences from it.
Yeah. Good epised. Solid episode. Didn't it. Again, it's one of those things where the episode didn't necessarily do anything.
I don't know about that. Your players are making themselves known here.
This is kind of like a building blocks episode. Like things that happen in the future are built off this, but still just quality all around.
That prison sequence was super cool.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a trope. It's a good trope.
The one time that made me, when I first watched it, that made me just kind of go, ooh, is when they had just gotten out of the nurse's office, and Matt's down on all fours, and the guy comes running in through the hallway doing the tiger knee to the head.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that... People got punched in this scene. I guarantee it, they had to reset this one a couple times.
I pray for the safety of the stuntmen. But yeah, rock solid. This is great. That whole sequence was great, and tension is ratcheting up, and it will continue to do so. And we're gonna see some more cool stuff coming. Yeah, and it's gonna be cool until the end.
It is. So I was actually I was joking with Will when I was at Iron Buffalo again this week for X-Wing.
Yeah,
that we have him on the show and then Daredevil gets canceled, so clearly he is to blame. And he offered to make up for it by coming on the show and reading excerpts from the Star Wars Shakespeare translations.
Wow. That's a thing that I shouldn't be surprised. Of course,
Yeah, those are things.
I mean, again, there's like Big Lebowski Shakespeare adaptations, so I shouldn't be surprised if there's Star Wars. That's great.
Do they say Judith in the Big Lebowski?
They might.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, folks, that does it for this episode. We thank you, as always, for joining us. If you would like to contact us, give us any thoughts or opinions or questions to be read on the show, you can do so at the following locations. You can follow us on Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can like our page on Facebook by going to facebook.com/devilsdopod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. Drew, that being said, any closing statements?
We ain't dead yet.
Nope.
We have many episodes to go.
Yes.
So exhale, y'all.
Yeah, we're not going to die. We're not going anywhere. The show will go on beyond the show. We'll just, we're just going to see what form in which we go on for. And I'm excited. It sucks that we're losing a freaking awesome show, but I'm excited for the opportunity of rebirth. Then, we are now Megatron. We have an opportunity to become Galvatron.
I mean, your mileage may vary on the quality of that.
Leonard Nimoy voiced Galvatron.
Okay, all right.
So
that's better than turning into Rodimus Prime. So,
all right, folks. We'll see you next week. Court is adjourned.